This isn't any regular heat. This is nuclear heat. Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Bringing you the latest from the Square Circle on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Jake Bakovic.
Great to be with you here on a Sunday night as it is the day after Bad Blood in WWE. Very cool pay-per-view premium live event that we can talk about and lots more. A lot of returns, a lot of fun. We'll also go over Raw and SmackDown from this previous week as well. But again, Bad Blood was kind of the mainstay that we'll start with. I'm Jake Bachman. We do this every week. The show is, again, called Nuclear Heat here on 93.7 Ticket. If you're a pro wrestling fan, tell your friends. Tune in at 9 o'clock to 93.7 The Ticket. Again, we do have Cowboys and Steelers on the radio right now, but we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So lots of fun to be had. I am Jake Bachman here every week alongside my tag team partner, tag team champions, by the way, Augie Pena, also we call him Nuclear Heat contributor. Augie, how have you been enjoying the wrestling?
It's been good. You know, it's been picking up a lot of excitement. As you said, you know, Bad Blood was yesterday, so it was a great and busy day for us to, you know, watch a lot of things going on at the same time. So you know, we gotta really get that multitasking on.
Did you, you know, obviously part of this too is being huge college football fans, and you know, college football was awesome yesterday, the other day too. Did you have to watch a lot of this post live? I suppose.
Some of it, yes.
Yeah.
So I actually a little bit. My phone kind of stopped working. So during the middle of all of it, I was watching Bad Blood on my phone. You know, our good Huskers on the TV.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to get a new phone, go to the Verizon store. So I missed kind of a little bit of both of them. But yeah, I did catch most of the Bad Blood post show. But, you know, I caught the end, I caught the beginning, the end, a couple of the matches, you know, as they were happening live. But then, you know, have our sources to find them afterwards. So that's kind of what I did with my Saturday. My Saturday was busy with watching a lot of things. So
yeah, I mean, college football didn't stop being interesting until like 1:30 in the morning because they had that West Coast the West Coast game with Cal and Miami. Another top 10 upset came down to it. Looks like the refs saved Miami once again, as they've been doing the last couple of weeks. But that's a story for a different show. So I actually fell asleep during the Miami Cal game. I was going to go back and watch the final two matches. And I ended up doing that this morning. So it's always tricky. You have to stay off Twitter, social media, all that, not to get spoiled. So I had the Rock return and all that this morning as I watched it. But let's jump into it one way or the other. Hopefully you've seen it by now. If not, plenty of spoilers because that's what the show is all about. We're going to break down each match and kind of how it looks and how it feels as wrestling fans. Are we excited? And you know, how we kind of would like to kind of change things, book them a little bit differently. But I don't know if there's too much to book differently in the first match. Hell in a Cell, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. This was a heck of a match to start it off. Hell in a Cell over the years even turned into a pay-per-view where they'd have 3 Hell in a Cell matches every pay-per-view. And you know, I'm glad that they've kind of gone back to this where it's Hell in a Cell within Bad Blood. It's not that just because the premium live event is called Hell in a Cell that everybody's going to get these matches. It has to be a blood feud that boils down to this. And we've been very critical of CM Punk and Drew McIntyre as a feud altogether because it's kind of been, you know, brought out and you know, we waited 10 years to see CM Punk in the WWE. We want to see him more than somebody with, you know, just mixing it up with Drew. It's been hard for them to get that going here, but they did bring it into the end, basically, I would think, with this one, especially with how good this match was. Included toolboxes. Drew McIntyre had the biggest crimson mask, you know, blood spewing down gusher on the top of his head. I saw on social media afterwards the stitches he had to get done for that. Which I was questioning the whole time. Is this real blood? Is this fake blood? That's a lot of blood. Generally, you'd come in, see a ref wipe it off his head, but definitely got a lot of very cool shots from that. And they went into this match basically saying, you're going to have to kill me to win this match. And they pretty much fought that out, which was very cool. In the end, Drew and Punk, or CM Punk, Drew and Punk would be interesting. CM Punk ends up bringing out a bag you would think would be thumbtacks, which was like, okay, here we go again. It was actually beads. I think it was McIntyre that brought that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, McIntyre brought that out, but ultimately CM Punk was able to reverse that on him. I think stuff his mouth with those beads and hit a go to sleep for the win. Both of them looked like they were getting treatment with WWE officials afterwards. This was just an absolute A+ of a match. And if this is the end to this 7-8 month feud, whatever it's been, I think it's a good way to go out.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I'm going to complain about is we didn't see anybody get thrown through, or off which is what but I mean, honestly, it was a phenomenal match. I too was questioning Drew, and then saw the gross staples on his head, makes you kind of queasy. And I love the ending with CM Punk, the oxygen mask saying, I need to call my wife, pretty much saying he selling it there. But man, how about them just really just putting it all out there? Just showing us why they're two of the best and why we were a little disappointed with the first two matches they had. They did the Seth Rollins as a special referee, and then they did the tie, or what I don't remember what the name
Strap
is.
match, whatever.
And it's like, this is why we wanted. I would have been okay having three, just one-on-one fights, trade, and then conclude with this. But as we're saying a lot right now, we have faith in what Triple H is doing. Trust the process with it. But man, there's just a couple spots here I'm just not going to forget about. Like one, the toolbox, which opened McIntyre, and then how about when he's trying to deliver that Claymore, misses and just hits his back on that. And, I know those aren't real steel, steps.
Yeah.
But man, that still got to hurt, on the thing there. Man, that was just, it was all incredible. I just, like I said, it was one of them I got to catch live, and I loved it. Bad Blood, it had all the, it had it all in there. And stuff like that. And it needs to be over. And honestly, we're probably not going to see Drew McIntyre for a while, one with, his head was cracked open there. And then two, just, for the sake of it, to really sell it, which WWE I think does a good job on. I think both of them are just going to probably go away for a little bit and then come back, and they'll have different feuds. But man, this was, if it wasn't for how this show ended with why, this to me, great, got it going 10 out of 10, but man, this deserved to be the main event 100%.
Oh yeah, it could have been. They usually kind of open up and finish with their best matches.
Mhm.
So, if this was not, and we had quite a return at the end. So understanding why this didn't main event, but to be the opener was fantastic. But yeah, I mean, as far as what's next, I think the CM Punk teasing going after Gunther, this feels like he's earned that. And right when he said that, it was like, oh, that'll be fresh. That'll be fun. So I think you'll probably see that. And I think you're right. I think Drew McIntyre, even as a character, probably needs a week off. I mean, they're not going to, he's such a good character. They'll probably bring him back pretty quickly, but at least a little bit off, because he's been selling that this is all, he's not going to give up until he gets finishes this. And now coming out on the losing side, you just wonder how they're going to spin him. Maybe kind of have the who am I type of questions now for Drew. But it's interesting because the crowd understands that Drew has been such a good worker. And so even though he's been the heel all this time, he's kind of like Roman, and obviously not to that level, but to that, if they do want to turn him face, I think they can. And the crowd would be behind him quite a bit just for the work that he's put in. That being said, it would be kind of interesting to see that, because the last time he was face, he kind of got stale. And that's why this heel turn and just the incredible job he's done in the acting, as we've said before, has been so refreshing for his career. So I've seen it thrown out there as maybe what you do is turn him back to face, and maybe he can make some money off of it. But he's such a darn good heel. But at the same time, it lacks a little punch after not winning this, no matter what he says. But at the same time, such a good promo that, I think a fresh feud as a heel would work too.
Yeah, and he's on, one of the best runs of his career. He had the championship run, and I would say this run, like you said, the heel run, I think is better than his championship run. And I don't know, I don't want to see him turn face just yet. I want to see him go into another. First off, I don't know who he's going to feud with now. Like you said, he's going to be devastated from this. He lost, which was the right choice. You don't have CM Punk lose his first feud and after 10 years, of all that stuff. But I would say just kind of keep him here and have him go after somebody else. I don't know who he's got some bad blood with on that there, but we'll see. But man, this was a heck of a way to start off this premium live event. I'm really glad they did. Man, it satisfied that, like, before this whole PG, this whole PG era, that attitude era, it felt like we were back in that. And like you, the beads. I think it was Michael Cole was even saying, "Is that the thumbtack?" Where it's like everybody thought that, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of was hoping it was, but I thought the beads was a great kind of comedy,
tied in the
point of it.
story.
Yeah, it really did on there. But man, these two just delivered, and I gotta tip it off to them. They did a great job, even though, like I said, we were really grilling it for a while there, thinking they weren't going to deliver, but they surely did.
Well, and no AJ Lee, no Larry, or
I know.
whatever the dog's name is. But that's all right. I think they made up for it. Although any AJ Lee return would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of wait and see on that. Don, by the way, chimes in on the text line 424-645-5685. Started Heyman Jewelers text line. Says the Hell in a Cell match felt more serious and had more interest in finishing this story. Not having over the top moments helped with that. So, I mean, I think regardless of how you are as a fan, and we've again been critical of this match, this feud sometimes poking its head into other feuds, or just not necessarily helping. I mean, they've been doing this for a long time. This does feel like a fitting end, and I haven't seen anybody say anything but A plus, match on this. So fantastic way to open the show. Always tough to go second, but I thought they did an okay job with their second match. It was the WWE Women's Championship match, Bayley versus Nia Jax. Interesting bump here in the middle of this from the referee, Jessica Carr. So shout out to Jessica Carr for being able to sell. Being a ref in the WWE is awesome. And I wonder what kind of schooling you have to go in there, because you have to do a good job of looking like you know what you're doing and also looking completely clueless and taking some bumps. And so I don't care at what speed Nia Jax is falling on you. That might hurt a little bit. So you kind of had that there in the middle of it. Set up the Tiffany Stratton tease to cash in, and this would be the only thing I kind of have wrong with this match is they're just kind of doing that too often. Even this time I didn't believe that she was going to cash in, and naturally you would think, okay, maybe they're doing that on these different weekly episodic shows to finally cash in at the premium live event. And so I at least wanted to believe that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But it just didn't even feel like the way they've been setting it up that they've gotten enough out of that. It feels like they can still kind of work with this Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax friendship, which I think is getting more interesting by the week because of the way that Nia Jax is treating Tiffany. So I guess my only problem there was to tease that one more time. It's to the point of teasing it too much, along with the fact that Tiffany Stratton just lost on, what was it, SmackDown to Naomi. I'd never liked the fact that they bury and make because they want to make the cash in surprising. Like, oh my gosh, Tiffany Stratton not only cashes in, but she could win this after losing week after week. She doesn't look like she's worthy of it.
Yeah.
Well, you remember they did that with Austin Theory for the longest time, and his career's never recovered, I think, from that deal. And I just wish they were building her up as more of a threat than just kind of this dumb blonde girl that will do whatever Queen says. And so that would be a minor complaint in this match, because otherwise I think it was good. The other thing is I think we've just seen Bayley and Nia Jax a lot. So I guess I was just expecting some more of a swerve, and the swerve was what I expected. So, I was a little bit disappointed in this match. For what it's worth, Nia Jax does end up pinning Bayley, which is the right move moving forward.
Yeah. And to the point, I was actually, we didn't get to discuss it beforehand, but I was going to say I'm tired of the tease. And it was very forced this time, because if you saw the ref, Jessica Carr, she actually grabbed the briefcase from Tiffany. Like, Tiffany didn't hand it to her. Yeah. It was kind of there, and she grabs it, forcing it. And then that kind of, Nia, they were calling her Nia Undertaker, because, she kind of propped up, like the Undertaker used to. But I'm going to say, other than that, this was hilarious to me. You had Nia Jax trying to Hurricane. I don't know if you caught that. It was the worst looking thing I've ever seen, but it was there. And then what else did she do?
They were trading each other's finishers.
Yeah.
Bayley was trying to do the Samoan drop on Nia too, and it looked like they sold it as Bayley got the best of it, but it looked like Bayley did not.
No, not at all. Nia did something else that was hilarious. I can't think of it, but the Hurricane to me is always going to be there, because first off, Bayley having her, that was great, but trying to sell it and trying to move, like Rey Mysterio, that didn't work for Nia Jax there. But no, I thought they did the right thing. Nia Jax keeping it. I would have been fine with Tiffany Stratton cashing in finally. Like you said, they're teasing it so much. It's got to pay off here eventually. And I feel like this would have been the perfect time for it here, because, now they're going to be feuding, and now it's not. So to me, I think they're going to be feuding, as you said, because Nia's treating her horribly, and two, Nia has now caught her like 6 different times trying to cash in. She's not going to let that slide now. So if they go into a feud, it kind of takes away the surprise of the Money in the Bank, if that makes sense. Whereas they had this opportunity here to still have it a surprise cash in. Whereas in a feud, is it really a surprise? When it's the one-on-one there, it kind of loses its value, if that makes sense.
Well, and two, I am interested where you go next because Bayley can't, this is her second, this kind of her rematch to try to get her championship back. She can't really make much of an argument that she deserves it. Now, you can always do a tournament or something and build somebody up, but just kind of thinking naturally, like they had Mishin win. Not too interested in that. They might go back to that. Could go back to Naomi, both of which they had win on the previous night of the SmackDown. But I think the surprise element, like the biggest star that Nia Jax is going to have a feud with during this, would be Bayley. So I think you're right in that this could be the time to do it then. Just because I'm not sure, I have to see what they do.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly over the top excited about Naomi and Nia Jax or Mishin and Nia Jax, and they might do it. And both of them are, maybe need a push, and maybe they could surprise me. But it's just hard to get that star power. That's a drop off in star power from Bayley as the adversary.
Yeah, and if sorry, I'm going to jump here, but something Bayley said on Friday Night SmackDown when she's like, "I will respect the Queen." There's another queen that's been out of action for a year and a half. That's what I've been saying, because I've been seeing things that Charlotte's coming back. Charlotte Flair, so I'm talking about, is coming back to SmackDown. Just kind of a matter of time. And then, I'm curious of how they're going to work these feuds with kind of what Triple H announces later on, in the match. Like, do they really, start other feuds, or it's kind of confusing to me what they're going to do there. But I agree with you. I mean, other than Bayley, Tiffany now is kind of, I feel like, lost something, because like, as you said, she got pinned by Naomi, and that's nothing horrible. Naomi's a former champion. Sure. But she hasn't really done anything since her return. So it's been 4 or 5 years since Naomi's really done anything. So that's not really great for Tiffany there. And I think she's doing good with the comedy act, but like you said, it's hard to take her serious right now. And she's somebody, when she first came on, we're like, push her to the moon. She's got everything, and she still does, but it just, the way they're booking her right now is just making it difficult to believe that, she is still that star, and it's WWE's kind of own fault on the way they're booking and making her lose so many matches.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they don't go into that routine, which again they usually do. With their Money in the Bank holders, which doesn't make much sense to me, but I get it. It's supposed to elevate the surprise when they cash in and do get the win. A match that really, I think, left a lot to be desired was Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Now, I'm a huge fan of Finn Balor. Maybe part of it is how much I was looking forward to this, because I'm a big Finn Balor fan. I think he's been underused over the years. Damian Priest, obviously, very over with his post-championship face run. And so, I mean, it just felt kind of like a typical match between them was the problem. Finn Balor did have, he wears the mask, which you can't see coming out of the opening. I don't know if that looks intimidating or what that it really looks like, but he does that once in a while. Again, I don't know what that's all about, but in any case, as predictably, Carlito and JD McDonough interfere, but Damian Priest can take care of them. I thought for a second Balor might get the win, as he was hitting coup de grace over and over on Damian, and so I think that was kind of their story, that their kind of big story on this premium live event that they want to tell. But ultimately, Priest was able to shake him off, hit a South of Heaven for the win. Again, I kind of thought this might happen, because I think at some point you need Finn Balor to need to get to that next level. Yeah. If he gets the win, why would he need to kind of bring back out his demon character? So this might help do that. But again, you have to watch. And they did this when Damian Priest was in the Judgment Day. If you have the Judgment Day taking too many pins or looking like the idiot too many times, then it's hard to take them as running Raw. And then when they are quote unquote running Raw, you get frustrated because they're just facing 3 good guys and they get pinned and then they have a beat. It just doesn't feel, and it kind of gets repetitive. So interesting enough, but didn't live up to what I was hoping. Damian Priest, Finn Balor. I think it's just lost a lot of its steam from the initial, backstabbing that Finn Balor did. like getting to that Monday Night Raw, I was extremely interested. And then they kind of did a good job, I think, on that Monday Night Raw of putting the package together. This is the new Judgment Day. And I wanted to see, Damian and Rhea, one way or another, get their hands on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But over time, it's kind of been, they do get their hands on him, and they do, every week, and one side will win or the other. But, and so I think that's part of the problem here too, is like, this doesn't feel like that Damian Priest is now done with the Judgment Day.
Yeah, and it is very disappointing because in a way this feels like a Monday Night Raw main event episode, right? And we were both excited. To me, it's confusing because I know when we did our predictions, you said Priest could win. I said I felt like Finn Balor needed to win simply off of the fact, when was the last time Finn Balor got a win? And two, now Damian Priest essentially got his revenge. Got what he set out to do on there, and they made Finn Balor just look really weak. Like you said, how many coup de grace did Priest take there in a row? He took like 3. I think he took 4 throughout the whole match.
Which at one time was you couldn't kick out of it.
Yeah, and the fact that he took out Carlito and JD, he took out 3 people by himself. So that tells us, one, Damian Priest is either overpowered, like you said. I mean, the Judgment Day, they're just kind of making him look bad there. So I was very disappointed, I would say, in this match. Good wrestling, I would say. These two have chemistry together, but just another one. They're probably going to want to keep going with this somehow. I feel like they'll do. Priest is going to try to move on, but now that Balor lost, he said, I'm going to get you when you least expect it. So it's going to be one of those. He'll probably go into another feud, come close to winning something. 3 months, 4 months down the road. Oh yeah, Finn Balor's here.
Balor.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody was saying that, the Demon. I feel like even though this was the first time, it still would have been fun to see the Demon come out. And maybe that's the way they're going, because regular Finn Balor can't win, but we're true WWE fans. I think the last 2 times the Demon's come out, he's lost.
Right.
So that's kind of lost. It
kind of buried him.
Yeah, kind of buried him too. I think against Edge and was it
Roman? Lost to Roman.
Yeah, Roman.
And the ropes broke.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, this it's just kind of really bad booking for Finn Balor, who, one, is the first ever Universal Champion who got it removed because he got injured, and two, somebody that I think should have been. I say this a lot, but he just has it. He has everything. The total package to me, and they just don't. It's like they forget who he is. And right now he's kind of just a main lackey on the Judgment Day, who I can't remember when they've won something. True. I think they're still the tag team champs, right?
Yeah, well, they do have that, yeah.
But you don't think of that.
Yeah.
And things like that.
They defended their title once.
Yeah, and it's just and Finn is the part of that, right?
Yeah.
See, you wouldn't think of that. It's like your tag team champion should not be losing these type of matches to Damian. Even I know they're trying to push Damian Priest, the Terror Twins, all that stuff, but I could go on and on for hours about this, but it's just so confusing to me what they're doing and why they're doing it to Finn Balor. And I just think they need to do a better job, because now I've kind of lost interest in this. I want Priest to move on, but like I said, the Judgment Day is probably not going to let him move on. And we're just going to kind of get that recycled, here we go, 3 months of this is what Raw is going to be like, and then it'll go to another premium live event. So I was very disappointed by this match. I think this was one of the biggest letdowns I had.
Yeah, I think it was too. And again, it doesn't really take away from the fact that, I mean, they can continue running Priest and Balor. But that I think that's just kind of the problem, is it just kind of feels like just another, like you said, just another Raw or match where the next night the next guy can get the upper hand again. And there just wasn't a whole lot of good storytelling, I think, throughout this match to kind of make up for that. But maybe that's why they put it the third match of the night.
Maybe.
I suppose they probably factored that in. All right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, we can discuss some of the big returns of the night that were left out, including The Rock. You had Raquel Rodriguez, and a historic announcement from Triple H, which ended up with Gunther and Goldberg getting into it, of all things.
Oh, man.
So we'll get into that coming up next year on Nuclear Heat on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks, and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Nebraskans are proud of their public schools. Hi, I'm Tim Royers. As a Nebraska Teacher of the Year, I traveled across the state and saw the value public schools bring to our communities every day. They're where our kids get the skills and opportunities they need to succeed. They're where families come together to enjoy a musical, cheer for our teams, talk with teachers, and build trusted relationships. Strong public schools create strong communities.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G356093 must trade.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Still using that old, outdated office phone system? You need better. At Hamilton, we offer solutions for the modern office. Whether you have an office full of staff or your employees work remotely and are on the go, seamless call handling is important. Elevate your communication and connect seamlessly with clients and staff with Hamilton Business Phone Systems. Choose better and hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Old school. Back to Nuclear Heat with your host, Jake Bakoven, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on Nuclear Heat for our weekly WWE Week in Review show. We are reviewing Bad Blood, of course, the big premium live event this past weekend from Atlanta. And we kind of got through a few matches, the Hell in a Cell with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Again, CM Punk ends up winning that one. Nia Jax retained her championship, WWE Women's Championship, with a victory over Bayley. Damian Priest beat Finn Balor, and then we are to hit Triple H's historic announcement about the Crown Jewel Championship, which basically is taking over the old Survivor Series model where each brand's champion would face each other. The announcement also comes that it's going to be on the men's and women's side, so you have two of those matchups to look forward to for Crown Jewel. Interesting because Survivor Series has kind of gone into this War Games, kind of idea from NXT, and they're kind of setting up the bloodline for that. So that makes a little bit more sense. Kind of makes Survivor Series a little bit more exciting to look forward to. I'm not a huge fan of what they're setting up with Crown Jewel. Now, obviously, it's exciting to see your top champions fight each other, but inevitably, somebody has to kind of get a little stain on their championship resume by losing this match. And then the other thing is, I'm just not sure. This kind of feels like an NXT, or excuse me, a 24/7 belt or something. Like, I don't know if you're gonna like carry around your Crown Jewel championship. Like, even King of the Ring, like the crown at least looks good. This Crown Jewel championship, I don't know. Do you just like put it in, hang it on your fridge, or like what does it really mean? Other than that you're the top champion in the WWE, which is great. Again, when you just and I think the stakes would be how to be fun to look forward to. I just don't always like it. They've done it before again at Survivor Series, and that it's impeded the way that you've looked at some of your champions on each brand, and then you have to go back and just not picking on anybody. If the SmackDown champion loses, you have to go back on SmackDown and kind of lick your wounds.
Yeah, and that is kind of the thing I'm not looking, because Gunther, Cody Rhodes, that's going to be a heck of a match. Those are two guys we want to see each other, but like you said, somebody's got to lose, and that's not good for either, because we talked about it. Cody Rhodes' championship run, not the greatest, because it's kind of been reliant on the bloodline, or Solo Sikoa, and Kevin Owens, kind of things like that. And with Gunther, they're really trying to get his footing. He had that reign, Intercontinental Champion. He's kind of in a weird feud with Sami Zayn, where he doesn't want to give him a match, and then does, and things like that. And now they are, but just things like that. And so it kind of puts you in a weird situation there. And I thought the belt, they overdid it with the belt. It has what, 50 carat diamonds, something like that.
Yeah, well, it's
and it's
Crown
huge.
Jewel, Saudi Arabia. So.
Yeah, so
a lot of money over there.
And that's kind of the, I'll just say this. That's kind of the things that I think puts off a lot of people for maybe some of these shows that take place over there, because these are the shows where the legends go over the top stars, because that's they're
people want to see over
there.
Yeah,
and those officials are paying the WWE millions and millions and millions of dollars. That's where, honestly, I think that's where the WWE gets probably most of their money from, is when they do those 3 shows a year over there, I think is what they do now. Which great for them, big payday for them, big payday for everybody, but really overdid the belt. Interesting, like you said. I look forward to the matches on there. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit different, though. It was going to be a women's mid-card belt. That's kind of what I was, hoping for there. But no, I mean, the 2 matches, Cody Rhodes versus Gunther, and Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. I think that'll be, those will be interesting matches. At least with Liv and Nia, there's kind of a little bit of history there, because they were 2 that were fighting for that championship. They were in it, and they kind of have a little bit of a history there. So I think it'll be fun. But as I mentioned earlier, how do they now? They kind of put themselves in that situation where, can you have, are those top champions going to be in 2 different storylines? Because they're going to have their confrontations, they're going to invade each other's brands, probably, do things like that. But we got other storylines, after that, who they're going to be, because that's kind of, they don't lose their title, so they're going to be champions regardless. So that's where I'm a little concerned, is it can get very messy having that. And, there'll probably be interference if they're not going to have, one of the champions take a normal pin, maybe kind of protect both of them. But yeah, it was interesting. I like I said, I think that belt looks ugly for everything they did to it. And I think they mentioned Braun Strowman won a championship belt in Crown Jewel as well.
Yeah,
that's never been mentioned again. So I don't know how, like you said, I don't know how the champ's gonna, he'll just have a very heavy, expensive belt, that he carries around in bragging rights. So that's kind of what they go for there.
Well, remember when they had like the best in the world? I think they had that conclude over there, and Shane McMahon ended up winning. That was interesting times. But I don't know. And for what it's worth, Crown Jewel is scheduled for November 2nd. War Games Survivor Series is for November 30th. So it is going to be this next month of setting up Crown Jewel, like you said. Maybe gives you an insight in some of the booking that they've done to kind of pause some of their current feuds. But yeah, it like you said, it kind of gets messy into this I always think it's kind of funny when you have to act like you care that you're a Raw member more than a SmackDown. Like, stop all the fact that you hate everybody and you've been feuding with everybody. Now you just want to do it for Raw. And for many years they did that, and then they'd have the draft, whatever, a few months away, and it never really made a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering how much they're going to go into that. I think you're better off not doing that. And I know the whole idea is, all right, let's believe in Triple H's booking. Maybe he can kind of change this. But I'll tell you what, that less draft, I've complained about it before. I'll continue to complain about it. They did not fix that draft problem that the WWE has had for years. And so this is just one of those gimmicks that they have in WWE that I'm not completely for, but other people are. I mean, everything in wrestling is not for you. And Don kind of says that off the text line as he did. He said, can't wait to hear your takes on Crown Jewel champ versus champ for the Crown Jewel title. So, and a lot of people, like, naturally, if you just kind of put it up there, here's two championship, belts fighting against one another for another title. It sounds great. I just don't think it always reflects well on the losing champion, or, you have to have some outside interference in there. And it's just, it again, can get kind of messy. So we'll see what they want to do there. Also, throughout that, for some reason, Goldberg was there. They didn't, he's just taking in the event, liking what he sees. And Gunther comes out and starts talking trash to him. And to the point where, Goldberg can, it's okay. You can talk trash for a while, but once you say he's not a good parent, well, that's enough.
Yeah.
Now he's got to get, from behind there. So they had the whole crowd of WWE officials come back and stop Goldberg from getting in the ring against Gunther, who was welcoming, and he wanted to get into that match as well. So I thought that was good. The more I think you get Gunther involved with, hating on these legends, I think the more heat you get on him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it necessarily leads to Goldberg and Gunther at some point, because he just did this with Bret Hart, and I'm not expecting Bret Hart to jump back in the ring. But Goldberg has come on this very station with Adam Carricker. He's friends with Adam Carricker, and said that he, at times has wanted a retirement match and was never able to get it with Vince there. And now it looks like there's at least an opening there, and maybe that, whether it be a retirement match or another big run, is open. But what you worry about is Goldberg, somewhat like the Saudi Arabia crowd. Like, there's a group of WWE fans that will just love to see him champion again. And he did, he's come in and done that before. I think that really hurt the Fiend. I think he came back and just beat the Fiend right away. And you think they can't possibly have that in the plans for Gunther, can they?
No, they can't. And I think this is where my heart almost stopped a little bit, and I had to catch my breath, when you see that interaction there, because we know Goldberg's notorious for his 3 minutes and under matches. So I was like, oh no, please don't tell me that you're going to have, even if it's not a match, don't tell me you're about to have Goldberg lay out Gunther. Would have been great for Pop, all that stuff, but storyline wise, not great for Gunther on there. So I did get really nervous. And I think the reason Goldberg was probably there is I think he's from Atlanta. I think he's a Georgia guy.
Okay, well, yeah, he's going to play college.
Yeah, he did play there too. So, that's probably, why they had him there. But man, I will take this away from it all too. Gunther has improved so much on the mic, and he is killing it right now with his promos. I love how he's like, I told Bret Hart, I didn't like him because you're my favorite. Well, I lied, and things like that.
He leads you right into it. Yeah.
And I thought that was all just hilarious. And oh man, Gunther's just killing it there. And but no, I was very nervous because, like you said, they ruined the Fiend this way. I mean, he squashed Brock Lesnar, who I think that's the first time Brock Lesnar's ever been squashed.
Yeah.
That was what, a 30-second match too?
Yeah.
So they're not, I mean, Vince wasn't afraid to, let Goldberg be Goldberg and just kind of do everything. But when you're 55 years old, semi-retired, great shape, I mean, I can't talk. He's, he looks 10 times better than I do. And he's like 20 something years older than me. And he can still do some things. Just, it hurts when they do that. They bring a part-time legend like that back and just bury the new talent that they have and just kind of go from there. And that's one of the things I really hope Triple H kind of stays away from a little bit. It is fun to see them, but yeah, I was very nervous. We'll just say that on there. And it was nice to see. It was just a little interaction, and it kind of set it up for the Sami Zayn attack on that too. So,
well, and like we said earlier with CM Punk, maybe he's ready to go after Gunther. So you've got opportunities to kind of make something fresh out of it. And I know there's different opinions about Goldberg across the WWE universe, partially because of things that you've kind of laid out there, quick matches, and just the fact that he kind of gets monster booked at times. But there's a lot of money in a Gunther Goldberg match, so I would look forward to it with the same fears that you have of it going similar to it did during the Vince McMahon era. But you know, maybe that could be part of the teases. Play in with that. You know, right away have him spear Gunther and go for the pin, and you know everybody's thinking the same thing. Oh no! So they could kind of play with that idea too if they want to. I'm all in for Gunther Goldberg.
I mean, I don't want to get this wrong. I love Goldberg. I was a huge fan of his that 200 match. I think it was 200 match streak that he had. Phenomenal. His acting career he went into. I'm still a fan of like those longest yard movies. Just I do not want to see him pin Gunther. And I feel like if they get that match going, there's a 95% chance he's gonna pin him. And especially if it is his last match.
Yeah.
You don't give somebody like Goldberg a loss in his last match. I mean, WWE's done that. I think Kurt Angle, they did that to him, who's a legend and things
Baron
like that.
Corbin, of all people.
See, and that's what so they're at there's no win-win for them here other than you're going to get a bunch of eyes, Goldberg fans. So I just want to say Goldberg, since he's been on the station, I'm a huge fan. I don't want to see this happen. That's just me though.
I'd love to see Goldberg back into it, but I don't want to see him get the belt right away from Gunther. At least make it a 2 out of 3 match.
I don't know. I mean, that'd be fun, you want to see a spear and stuff, but just you can't.
The jackhammer. I mean, how can I know he's only got like 3 moves, but they're awesome. They're great moves.
And his entrance is phenomenal. The whole headbutt, to the locker he does, and the music you hear it, the security walking him out, like the walk he does. Like I said, he still looks phenomenal for a 55-year-old. I think he's like 55, and everything, and he can still do it. It's just. You don't want him to do that against a guy you're pushing to the moon right now in Gunther, somebody who 666 days, that's 2 years essentially.
Yeah.
You've been pushing Gunther for 3 years. You don't want to risk, maybe, I don't know that it just gets really messy, man. And like I said, we can kind of go on and on about that, but it's scary to think of.
Well, we sure have. We went through this segment. I think we were going to maybe get through the Bad Blood review. That was the only thing we got through. It wasn't even a match. It was just an announcement. But we can take a quick break. Once again, the returns of Raquel Rodriguez and Jimmy Uso, as well as The Rock. We still got all that to wrap up the show. Coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket and Nuclear Heat.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Nebraskans are proud of their public schools. Hi, I'm Tim Royers. As a Nebraska Teacher of the Year, I traveled across the state and saw the value public schools bring to our communities every day. They're where our kids get the skills and opportunities they need to succeed. They're where families come together to enjoy a musical, cheer for our teams, talk with teachers, and build trusted relationships. Strong public schools create strong communities.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G356093 must trade.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So, if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Back to Nuclear Heat with your host, Jake Bakoven, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on Nuclear Heat on 93.7 The Ticket, our weekly WWE Week in Review show. And this week we get to review Bad Blood, which was fantastic, I think, as a whole. And a lot of that is because The Rock returned, which will automatically get an A+ from Augie every week. So, or every time they do it, even though I would argue they could have maybe returned a little bit better, as I always complain about The Rock return. So we've kind of got some things. It's kind of funny. He's returned like 3 times in the last year. So
hey, it's
a lot of
special
returns.
every single time. We're graced with his presence,
That's
even
right.
though he doesn't say anything half the time. We love it.
Yeah, this was the old kind of the CM Punk return when they had him return too. Just come out of the locker room, look around, and all right, that'll do it. So I thought they could have done a better job with that, but we'll get to that in a second. First, we have to do the Women's World Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Of course, Dominic Mysterio, he's scared of heights. He's scared to be in closed spaces, so he's got to go into a shark cage. Good enough match as it was moving along. Eventually, you kind of get to the spot where Dominic is trying to escape. Somehow he picked his way out of that lock. You knew they were going to have to, get to that at some point. I do like that they were also trying to promote the toilet paper that they have of Dom's face on it. Thinking about purchasing one of those myself. And ultimately, Dominic is able to escape the cage, but he's hanging. He left hanging from the shark tank as his foot got caught on one of the chains up there. And so Rhea Ripley takes that opportunity to get a kendo stick and go and hit her former boyfriend with it several times, which was good. And then Raquel Rodriguez comes out of nowhere. The crowd went absolutely silent. They did not necessarily care that Raquel Rodriguez was back, but her return was supposed to tell the story of Liv Morgan in her friendship of old coming back. Liv Morgan, remember, told Rhea Ripley before this match that she's not bigger or better, she's smarter, and so she must have recruited Raquel Rodriguez here. Bit of a botch, it looked like, at some point, because the bell was rung, so it was disqualification, but at the same time, Raquel Rodriguez kind of laid Liv Morgan over Rhea Ripley for the pin, so not necessarily sure what happened there. A lot was kind of made of that on Twitter, but I think, to me, the bigger problem here is that nobody cared that Raquel Rodriguez was back, and in fact, and it's nothing against Raquel. I've said this before about her too. She doesn't necessarily have a gimmick. She's got a muscular back. She's big, but they need to give her a little bit something to work with, and they haven't necessarily done that. And so I think that's why the return didn't necessarily pop like anybody would really want it to. And then this Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan stuff has been good. Again, I think kind of stretched out and not necessarily booked to the point that I just couldn't wait to see these two finally get their hands on each other, which is, I think, the way that it should have been booked. But it's interesting enough that I want to see it continuing. And and I guess to go back to something you said earlier, Raquel Rodriguez kind of feels like the Seth Rollins in the CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud, where it's like, I don't know if we need this.
Yeah, it was messy. First off, for the match, between Rhea and Liv, I hated the fact that Rhea could have pinned Liv, had her down, just done, and she decides she's going to go hit Dominic like a piñata, which of course you have to do for the storyline purposes, right? She's going to not pick up that win. So I feel like they kind of went a little bit too far there, out of our realm of imagination, with things like that. And I've heard stories that Raquel came out too early. That wasn't supposed to be when she was supposed to attack her, because they were saying that the ref was supposed to be distracted and not see her. So that's why she went for the pin, things like that. Not a good way to come back. And it just all felt wrong, looked weird. And man, I've never felt so bad for a wrestler's return. Then everybody was happy with it. Rhea's all hitting Dom like a piñata. It was funny.
People liked that.
Yeah. And then she gets hit and I was expecting like, ooh, pop, something. There was no cheers at all. So it was weird. Because we had seen each other earlier, and I had told you, oh, what about a Raquel Rodriguez return?
Yeah, you called it.
It kind of makes sense because as you said, I think Rhea storyline wise is the one that took out Raquel, and Raquel and Liv were best friends, so that makes sense on there. And then you add her to kind of add to, we saw it. Rhea was kind of dominating Liv, one-on-one. Rhea is going to probably beat Liv in a, real, when you think of it realistically and stuff like that. So Raquel kind of comes in to be the even the odds there. But man, with that return, it makes you think, I don't know, we'll see what they decide to do there. But as for them continuing the story, even Rhea Ripley came out and said, I don't want this feud to go to through WrestleMania. So that, we'll see. How long they continue to go here. But for now, it looks like it's going to continue and, keep going there. But it's interesting because now that Damian Priest got his revenge, is he still going to be her terror twin, on there, because he has no reason to feud with the Judgment Day. So,
well, and that's what the thing is. It could pivot, and we'll see if Raquel Rodriguez joins us the Judgment Day. It could pivot into kind of a women's faction.
Yeah.
With already the lackeys that they have on the men's side. I mean, they can go out there and take their hits. They can't really fall any further down the card. Again, we're saying this about a guy that has a tag team championship in JD McDonough, but it's just they haven't been really well protected. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I was half expecting Raquel also to turn on Liv. That didn't happen, so maybe some storylines still to play out there. Then we get to the main event: Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu come out, and then we see Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns come out, and you can tell who's a little bit more of a star in this. I think Cody Rhodes had the Arkansas Pine Bluff band out there, and Roman Reigns, who did he? I mean, he also had a theatrical entrance.
The Atlanta Philharmonics, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
And I got to point out, did you see the drummer lady?
Yeah,
she wasn't drumming; she was faking it. So that was hilarious there. I try to point that out. Sorry.
All right. So you think there might be some lip singing type of action of the drums there?
100%. There was something there. She was so happy to just be a part of it all, though.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. I mean, this thing, hard hitting. Roman Reigns is taking a lot of punches, but continuing to kind of get the hot tags. Obviously, the story is Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns don't necessarily like each other, but they're doing what they have to ultimately get the win here. And they do. I mean, they ultimately do get the win, not without the help of Jimmy making his return. And it was an interesting way for this to end. I know a lot of people, everybody's interested to see if Jay's coming out right afterwards, right? Is this where we see them reunite? Are they going to kind of slow tell this story like they have with the Bloodline before, where it's just kind of every premium live event's another Bloodline member? So are we waiting until the next premium live event to get to Jay? And that's where I kind of thought it was going. And then The Rock's music hits, and you're like, okay, well, The Rock's here. What's going to happen next? And nothing happened. He just came out and said three, or kind of held up three fingers. And that's where we leave off. And that is interesting enough that it leaves you, wondering what's next. Not everything in wrestling is always, man, this was awesome, and that was really cool spot. Some of it is, well, now I got to tune in to see what's going to happen next. And that's kind of what they did with The Rock's return.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you don't know who he pointed that to. Is he going after Cody? Is he going to go after Roman? Because when the match ended, the Bloodline for some reason decided to attack Cody again, and then Jimmy and Roman decide to help Cody Rhodes. And Roman gives him the championship back, and that's when the Rock music hits, and it seems like he's upset at that. He's upset that he kind of came back, I think, last year to help Roman retain against Cody. All that work, Bloodline, all that, and then now Roman's handing him the championship, all that stuff. So I'm interested. Anything with The Rock is going to catch my attention there. I'm a huge Rock guy. And so all he needed to do, man, was do the 1, 2, 3, the cutthroat thing. And I'm hooked. I'm hooked on the Bloodline storyline for another 6 months till WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure on that.
Well, you're in luck because it's going to go through that.
100%.
I agree, but that's the way to go. That's the way to go. All right, before we get out of here, a few more things. I'm going to give one sentence to you for each one of these deals because we got to review Raw and SmackDown this past week. But before we do that, very interesting way to have KO turn heel, which was basically fan cameras catching KO beating on Cody Rhodes after a brief argument. So, they've done Kevin Owens turning heel a lot, and it's fantastic every time he does it. So I'm kind of torn because I would like to see that on screen, but it's definitely an innovative way to get some more social media likes. So I thought that was interesting. But again, one sentence reaction to that. Real quick.
Loved it. 100%.
There you go. Braun Breaker turning face with Jey Uso on Raw.
Hated it. Weak.
Weak. Xavier Woods unmasked Rey Mysterio. Earned shot at Intercontinental title carrying Cross in the background.
I did not like that either.
All right. Gunther against Sammy. Set up for Monday night.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, that's all I'll say.
Hey, you get one sentence. That's it.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I was going real quick. Miz turns heel on R-Truth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I found that very interesting.
Gives you a little something to look forward to there. And then I'll give you 2 sentences on this because this was awesome. Last monster standing, Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. Ring explodes, and Seth Rollins comes for his finishing move on Bronson for his the stomp for his revenge.
It was perfection.
Yeah.
You love when
There you
the
go.
ring explodes, all that, boom, perfection, perfect ending to Monday Night Raw.
All right, SmackDown review. AJ Styles, legit injury?
I don't know. I think so, maybe.
Tough to tell.
Yeah.
Tough to tell. All right. How about Mishin defeating Chelsea Green in a very entertaining dumpster match?
I loved it. This surprised me. Loved it.
Yeah, great. Raw and SmackDown actually were fantastic. We've already talked about Naomi defeating Tiffany Stratton, and then tag team title match, Bloodline defeats DIY and Street Profits with B-Fab there along with the Street Profits. But in any case, Bloodline retains. Got a sentence there?
It was fine. It was fine.
Entertaining stuff.
Yeah.
And they have done a good job, I think, of, and we'll see what they do because they're going to this 2-night SummerSlam, 2-night WrestleMania, so max everything out. But they've done a good job with the premium live events, and Triple H has said as much that they're limiting them to like 5 matches because it seems to be more interesting. That allows some of these other feuds to play out on Raw, on SmackDown. So I thought that made these go-home shows a lot more interesting than they typically are, and some great matches like a dumpster match or a tag team ladder match.
Yep.
Very cool stuff.
Yep.
All right, that'll wrap it up for our WWE Weekend Review show, Nuclear Heat. We'll be back, as if you guys may well know, if you listen to the show, my favorite episodes of Raw and SmackDown are right after the previous premium live events. We get to see what's set up for the future. So we will know the feuds going in after next week, and we'll talk all about them right here on Nuclear Heat on 93.7 The Ticket.